Which of these two videos looks better? They're both shot on the same camera, but one has a setting that's throwing the colors completely off. A lot of creators have no idea why this is happening, because when you first get your camera, you come across a setting that's called white balance, typically leave it in auto and think that the camera is capable of getting that setting right. But that's exactly why your footage can look inconsistent or just a little off. Getting the proper white balance is the key to good looking colors and tones, and leaving it in auto is almost never a good option. And in this video, I'll show you some simple ways to set your white balance for accurate color every time you hit record, and how to make your videos look clean and professional no matter what camera that you're using. Regardless of if you're in the studio, in natural light, or on the go. The style of a YouTube video falls into one of two different categories. A studio shot with controlled lighting, a scene that's maybe just in your house with window light, or a vlog style shot like this. Let's cover the studio and just like that in your house natural light shot first. So in the studio, when you have controlled lighting, the main reason why we don't want to use auto white balance, besides the fact that the camera is most likely not going to get it right 100% of the time, and that's when you're going to fall into situations where maybe you like how it looks one day, and then the other day, maybe you're wearing a different color shirt and the camera's calibrating different, maybe you don't like how your colors and tones look that day. That's where you get kind of frustrated with the inconsistency because you think you're in the same scene and the camera should make it look the same, and it just won't 100% of the time. Besides that, it's also incredibly easy to manually set it in the studio and doesn't take much time at all. But right before I show you how to manually set it, the other reason is that if you leave your camera in auto white balance, it could be constantly assessing the scene's colors and tones, trying to get white balance, and that's when you'll see in the same shot, in the same scene, you'll see some of this color shifting happening, and that can be pretty frustrating. Now, looking at how to dial in your white balance, first thing I want to make sure that you do every single time, I'm going to be using a white reference card. These ones are super affordable. I'll put a link for one down below from Amazon. They're like $9. Incredibly useful. You can also just use a white piece of paper as long as it's flat and not wrinkled. I like these cards because you can prop them up like this. But the one thing I want you to be doing, whether it's a card or a piece of paper, is make sure that it is facing the main light source of the scene. For example, this shot would be one that maybe I'd be getting my main YouTube angle, the one that you've been looking at today. So the light source is over here, and for this shot, I'm over here to make this all make sense, but make sure that your reference card or your reference piece of paper is facing the main light source. Now, if you know, in the studio in particular, if you know the Kelvin value of your light, this one is 5600. I know that because it says it on the side of it, but also just you can look at the details of your light and figure that out pretty quickly. Every camera is going to have the ability in your white balance settings to go in and adjust what's called the Kelvin temperature, represented right now. You see that 2500 K. K stands for Kelvin. And if you know your main light source temperature, you can just match your in-camera setting. For this case, it's 5600. And boom, your white balance is done and this scene is naturally balanced. But maybe you don't know the light temperature, like the Kelvin value of your main light source. Maybe you're in natural light or you just don't know. You can just eyeball it, whether it's that piece of paper or this affordable white reference card. Every camera, you can change the Kelvin value. You can just look on the back of your screen and adjust these numbers until that white looks true white. Down here it looks too blue, and up here it looks way too warm or way too orange. So you just kind of find that value where you train your eye to find what looks true white, lock that in, and that would be your white balance. Another thing that cameras are going to have is the ability to custom set or tell the camera what true white is, and it'll calibrate from there, and this is going to be the most precise. In every camera, there's going to be an ability to do a custom set for white balance. In this custom set, you're just going to be clicking on something that allows you to pull up a box like this or a square like this, and you're going to be putting that over something in the frame. It has to cover the entire thing, which right now that's covering the entire white card. And the white balance right now in this scene looks way too warm. But as soon as I tell the camera what I want true white to be, when I click that, it's going to dial it in itself, and you can see that it's captured the custom white balance data. I can lock that in, and now I have exactly perfect white balance for this scene. Okay, I want to show you how easy this can be. Just a regular, in the house, completely natural lit type of scene here. I got my girlfriend Savannah holding the white card. You can tell she's my girlfriend because we got matching hoodies on today, which is adorable, I know. But the first thing is just under this, making that white card, that reference card, look true white by adjusting the in-camera Kelvin setting. And so for me, we were going from too cool up here is probably way too warm. Just eyeballing it and finding that about that value. And for me, it's probably somewhere between 62 and 6500. Just have to get close, and I'm going to lock that in, and that will be the white balance for this type of shot. And I think that looks great. What you can also do with that custom set is just you need to go find the value, and I could use the white card, or in this scene, I happen to have a situation where the walls behind us are actually true white. So I can just use that too to show you guys a different way of doing this, and it's going to lock that in. It looks like it's saying 6500, which is pretty close to where I had it. And now we have perfect white balance for a natural lit indoor shot. By the way, if you're figuring out settings like this and want some help beyond just white balance, I actually made a free camera settings generator that makes your YouTube videos look outstanding. You just pick your camera and what your shooting conditions are, and it gives you the exact settings that I'd use. It's completely free, and I'll put the link for it down below. Okay, let's take a look at how to make your vlog style shots look great. So for a vlog style shot where the light temperature is rapidly changing, like this one, where I'm going from the shade of my car out into just kind of like cloudy, partly cloudy sunlight, we're seeing a lot of temperature changing in the light. Now I'm about to go into some hallway light, some incandescent style light here, still with some changing. This is all going to make sense. All the way into a different color and like tone of light, all the way back into my hallway. Hopefully that gets the right exposure, and back into the studio, which is daylight balance. And once we get in the studio, this should start to look a little bit more normal. That wouldn't be a good situation to lock my white balance like we looked at earlier for the studio or natural light indoor shot. I did it for that clip because I wanted to show you the different colors and tones that were happening with the lighting in the different scene that was changing, which was also a good example of where the improper white balance can make your skin tone just not look so good. We're going to do that same sequence from my car to some partly cloudy outdoor light, and now in auto white balance, the camera's going to be making the adjustments for us as we're going through all these different light temperatures and lighting conditions. Same shot, same temperatures. Camera's going to be constantly assessing the white balance to try to make sure that it gets relatively close. And this is a tough situation for it, but it should be light years different from that last one. And we're going to get into the hallway here, and we'll finish up back in the studio with that daylight balanced light. The auto white balance is doing a pretty good job here. Last little bit, it's going to look pretty blue for a second until it calibrates, and we are back in the studio. When we look at those two clips side by side, the one on the left has a fixed white balance set in camera, and the one on the right is using auto white balance. Auto white balance is the best option when you're trying to get a clip where you're walking through different light source color temperatures, and is also the only situation where I like using auto white balance. The camera's going to make the adjustments as the light temperature changes. It's going to give you decent colors and tones, at least for auto white balance. But there's also situations for a vlog style shot where your lighting conditions or your lighting temperature conditions aren't changing and they're actually a lot more consistent. Here's what to do for that. As an example, if you're, let's say, outdoors in direct sunlight or cloudy weather, whatever, you're outdoors and the lighting temperature is not changing, there's some presets in your camera that actually work really well if you get them right to make your colors and tones look natural. If you're in direct sunlight with no clouds, use some kind of a sunny weather or daylight preset. If you're in clouds, use a cloudy weather or cloud preset. If you're in shade, use the shade preset. You get it. These are really fast and they're going to be 10 out of 10, way better than auto white balance once you start using them. Another vlog style shot that's going to be consistent light temperature where it's not changing throughout the scene is, let's say you're indoors and you don't know the light temperature. Think like in a gym or in somebody's house or in your own house, like at night with just the lights turned on. I wouldn't use auto here for all the reasons that we talked about because we already learned a system that can help out a lot here. Earlier, when we were using a white card and we're just trying to eyeball it, adjust our Kelvin temperature to make the white look white on the back of our camera, or using a custom set where we have a target and we grab that white card to tell our camera what white is going to work great in this situation. Just keep in mind, if you go into a different room or something, or you can tell the light temperature is different in a different spot that you want to go film your next section in, just make sure you redo that. Oh, and if your skin tone is coming out maybe a little bit too purple or a little bit too green after all of that, if you just use that same flat white piece of paper or white card that you use to get the white balance, if you just, after you hit record, hold that up for a few seconds, then you can get rid of it and do your shot. In post-production, any editing software is going to have this. Under the white balance, you're going to click on the selector, and you're just going to click on that white reference card, and it's going to make the final adjustments to get your greens and your magentas dialed in. And if you make those simple tweaks, your YouTube videos are going to look a lot better. But if you also care about how your videos sound, you want to check out this video where I dive into all of my best tips and tricks to get clean audio. Anyways, see you in the next video. Take care. See ya.